Book 2 of the Cul-de-sac Kids, and it's called The Chickenpox Panic. Chapter 1. It was an itchy, glitchy Friday. Abby Hunter sat in bed. She rubbed the spots on her arm, on her face, and behind her knees under her pajamas. "I hate chickenpox," she said. "Here," said her little sister Carly, "put some gooey stuff on." She gave the bottle of pink liquid to Abby. Frowning at the spots, Carly backed away. Abby shook the bottle and turned the lid. She wrinkled her nose. The spots on her nose wiggled. "Pooey, it stinks." Slowly, one at a time, Abby dabbed pink goo on her spots. It was supposed to make the itching stop. Abby counted to 10 and waiting for the pink goo to work. "Nothing happening," she complained. Carly leaned against the door. "I hope I don't get your chickenpox." Abby dabbed another coating of goo on the bumps she could reach. "Mum wants you to catch them," she said. "How come?" Carly demanded. "So you don't get them when you're a grown-up." Abby put on her mint green bathrobe. She felt cozy inside, spots and all. Carly stared at Abby. Then she pointed. "Look, Abby, you even have them on your feet." "I know," Abby said. "I have them everywhere." What did they feel like?" Carly asked. Even like having a giant mozzie bite?" Carly nodded. "Just multiple that times by 100, Abby said. Carly shivered and turned the doorknob. "I'm getting out of here. You'll be sorry if you don't get them now," Abby said. She scratched between her toes. "We'll not," Carly said. "We'll so." Abby said. "We'll not." Carly said. "Will." Abby stopped. Mother stood in the hallway carrying a large atlas. She gave it to Abby. "Is this what you needed?" Abby reached for the book of the maps. "Thanks. This is double good." She flipped the pages to the back of the atlas. "Where's the capital of South Korea?" "Seoul," said Mother, smoothing Abby's quilt. Carly giggled. "That's a funny name." Abby held the book open. "You just think it is. Come and see how it's spelt." "Not me," Carly said, hugging the door. "I'm staying right here." Abby rolled her eyes. "I'm afraid of chickenpox." "Afraid of my chickenpox?" Mother gave both girls a kiss. "I'm not going to having bad than when you're little," she said. "That's what I told her," Abby said. Mother grinned and left the room. Abby turned to page 45 in the atlas. She leaned on her elbow, looking at the map of South Korea. With her fingers, she traced the border. "What are you looking at?" "It's a secret," said Abby. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Carly sneaking closer. Whoosh! Abby plonked her pillow down on the top of South Korea. Chapter 2. Abby climbed out of bed. She went to her desk to find a ruler, but she kept her eyes on the pillow. Hiding page 45 in the atlas. It was time to measure South Korea. She sat on the edge of the bed. Then she held the pillow over the map so Carly couldn't see it. Carly yelled, "You can't fool me. It's your homework." "Guess again," Abby said. She put the ruler down. Carly stopped her foot. "Tell me this minute." Abby looked up from the map. "Don't be bossy." "Please, Abby." Carly begged. Abby looked at her sister's blue eyes. Could she trust her? "Do you promise not to tell?" Carly grinned. "Cross your hearts and hope to." "Don't say that," Abby said. "It's silly." "That's how you make a promise," Carly said. "Maybe in the first grade, but not in third." Abby picked up the pillow and uncovered the map. Carly inched closer. "What's the map for?" Carly scratched her nose. "Sean used to live in Korea when his name was Lung Shung Jin," she said. "I know, before we adopted him and Jimmy." Abby leaned on the atlas. "When Sean and Jimmy came to live in the United States, they had to leave their country behind. I know that, said Carly. She played with her curls. So what's the map for? It's Double Dabble surprise for Sean's 9th birthday. He's going to have the best birthday cake ever. Abby slammed the map book shut. I don't get it, Carly said. Why are you looking at maps and talking about cakes? Abby smiled just because. She felt like a jitterbug inside. Birthday secrets always did that. Carly tiptoed closer. Now she stood beside Abby's pillow. Please tell me, Abby crossed her heart. Okay. Here's my secret, said Abby. I'm going to make a cake in the shape of South Korea for Sean's party. Carly jumped up and down. Goody! Remember, you can't tell anyone else, said Abby. The secret could get back to Sean. That would be terrible, said Carly. But she had a silly look on her face. You better not tell, Abby said. She slid under the covers. Or what? Or you'll be sorry, Abby said. She pulled up the quilts. I feel lousy. Chickenpox does that. Mummy said so. Carly opened the door to leave. Abby was glad. She was tired of Carly's chatter and all the silly cross-your-heart stuff. She hid the atlas under her bed. Then she fell asleep, wishing she hadn't told anyone about the cake. Chapter 3. Abby woke up when Carly brought in supper tray. On it was chicken soup and honey toast. Stacey Henry had come for a visit. She was Abby's best friend. Stacey pulled out a get-well card out of her pocket. Here, I made this for you today at art class. She gave it to Abby. Abby read the card. It had a silly, sad face with spots all over it, and it was Abby's itchy, glitchy chicken book face. At the bottom card was a happy face after the chicken pox. Hope you get well very quick, Stacey said. She untied her sneakers and pulled them off. Thanks, Abby said. I have to. My brother's birthday is going to be in 2 weeks, and Abby's going to bake him a cake. Abby stared at Carly. You better not tell. Carly put her hand over her mouth. Oops, I mean Abby's going to. Just be quiet, Abby warned. Abby wanted to take the secret back. Pooey. Little sister, what a pain. Carly's friend Dee Dee Winter sneaked into the bedroom just then. She giggled when she saw Abby. I bought you something, Abby Pock. She gave Abby a plastic ring. Thanks, Abby said as she slid it onto her pinky. Dee Dee's eyes got big. Come have a look, Abby said. She propped her pillows up behind her, showing off her bumps. They're everywhere, Dee Dee said. Abby leaned against the pillow and grinned. They keep me out of school all week. Stacey sat on the end of the bed. Look out or you'll catch them, Carly shouted, pulling on Stacey's arm. Stacey smiled. It's okay, I had them last year. Carly frowned. You might get them again. Mother says if you can only get it once, Stacey said. Really, said Carly. Dee Dee crept towards the bed. That's why I came over. My mother wants me to catch them. She held her breath like she was scared. Then she sat on the bed. We could all get them together, said Carly. Dee Dee jumped up and down and said goodbye. She ran out of the room and Carly raced after her. Abby slipped back under her quilts. Quick, close the door, she said to Carly. Stacey hurried to shut the door. Good idea, we have to talk. What's up? Asked Abby. Promise you won't tell. Abby sat straight up in bed. A secret. Well, do you know? Stacey unzipped the pocket on her jacket. She pulled out a piece of paper. Abby nodded. I promise. She felt like a jitterbug, for sure. Chapter 4. Abby looked at Stacey's paper. There was a tree with a bunch of branches and lines on the paper. Stacey pointed to the paper. Do you know what this is? Abby saw names on the lines. A family tree. Stacey nodded. It's for school. I wish I could go back soon, said Abby. Said Abby. Looks like fun. Not really, said Stacey. How come? I asked my mother and she didn't know know very many names, Stacy said sadly. There was lots of blank lines on the branches on Stacy's paper. Just then somebody knocked on the door. Shh, said Stacy. She stuffed the paper in her pocket. Don't say a word about this. Abby nodded. Then she called. Who is it? Sean, came the voice through the door. Is Snow White in here? Come look for your dog if you want, Abby said. The door opened and Sean came waving a dog collar. Snow White gone. Are you sure? Said Abby. Carly says time for Snow White to get chicken pox. Stacy looked worried. Abby said, and Stacy giggled. Sean looked puzzled. Does dog get pox? Abby smiled. Definitely not. Good, said Sean, smiling now. Maybe Jimmy took Snow White for a walk. Look at him. Look for him. You might find your dog, Abby suggested. Sean held up the dog collar. Take dog without leash? Not smart. You're right, Abby said. She thought about Snow White's favorite place. Look in the secret place behind Carly's closet, she said. Snow White likes to sleep there. Good thinking, Sean said. He turned to Stacy. Stay there. Do not leave soon. Then he ran out of the room. Stacy looked surprised. I wonder what he wants. Abby said, quick, show me your family tree again. Stacy unfolded the paper. Hurry, I don't want Sean to see it, or anyone to see it. Why not? Abby said. Because I think I'm adopted. Stacy looked like she was going to cry. You do? Abby said. Surprised, Stacy played with her zipper on her jacket. My mother can't find my baby pictures, not a single one. Abby scratched the bumps on her feet. Maybe they got lost when you moved here. That was a long time ago, Stacy said. Wait a minute, Abby said. You can't be adopted. Everyone says your eyes look like your dad's. That's what my mum says, but I don't remember him. He moved out years ago. Abby took a deep breath. She wished Stacy's father lived at home, right here on Blossom Hill Lane, the best cul-de-sac ever. I have an idea, said Abby. Look at your birth certificate. It would tell you the truth. I tried it. I tried that, said Stacy. My mother can't find it either. Abby frowned. Is it lost? I told you, I must have been adopted, Stacy said. Just like your Korean brothers and Snow White. And she stopped. Abby threw the covers off and scooted across the bed. She put her arm around Stacy. And what? And if it's true, I don't even know where I came from. Abby grabbed a tissue box off her dresser. Here, wipe your eyes, she said. Why don't you ask your mother? Stacy shook her head. I did. She's too busy. Now Abby was really worried. Something was going on. She had to find out exactly what, and fast. Chapter 5. Somebody pounded on Abby's door. Who's there? Stacy called. Snow White and Goliath, said a tiny voice. Abby giggled. That must have been my little brother. Stacy tossed her family tree paper under the bed. Sure enough, Jimmy was carrying a fluffy white puppy. Snow White sleeping in secret place, waiting for kiss from Goliath to wake up, he said. Abby and Stacy giggled. You might have a fairy tale mixed up with the Bible story, Abby said. Snow White is not in the Bible. And Goliath would never kiss a puppy, said Stacy. And Jimmy is still learning about the Bible, said Abby. She liked telling her adopted brothers the story of David and Goliath in Korean. They had only heard Bible stories in the orphanage, nowhere else. Jimmy grinned and put down the puppy. Snow White hopped up and on the bed and licked Abby's face. No, Snow White, shouted Jimmy. Must not get itchy pox. Just then Stacy came in with his school notebook. Snow White leapt up on him too. You are here, said Sean, patting his puppy. He put on the collar on Snow White. Then he showed his notebook to Stacy. He opened it to his family tree, pointed to the grandfather line. What did teacher say if a person dies? He said to Stacy. You still must write the name, then the year he was born and the year he died, if you knew it, Stacy said. Oh, Sean said, I do not know when grandfather died. Mother and Kriya not tell me. Abby scratched her neck. Let's see your family tree, she said to Sean. There were 2 names on top of each line, one for his Korean birth parents and one for Abby's parents. Sean's eyes shone. I have 2 families now. Stacy peeked at Sean's family tree. She pointed to the line on the left. Is this your birth mother's name? Sean smiles. Yes, first mother lived in Korea. She's very sick. Mrs. Hunter, Abby's mother. Now, my mother. We are very lucky she adopted Jimmy and me. Stacy thought for a moment. I think you're lucky too. Abby handed the notebook back. Your writing is getting better, Sean. I think it's A+ paper. Sean's eyes lit up. Good, I think too. Then he and Jimmy left the room. Stacy sat on the rug beside the bed. I want to know if I'm adopted, she said. I'm good at solving mysteries, said Abby. I will help you. When can we start? Stacy said. As soon as my bumps crust is over, said Abby. Stacy leaned down and looked under the bed. What are you doing? Stacy said. Remembering the atlas she hid there, she held her breath. Finding my family tree. I hid it here. Under here. She pulled out the book of the maps. Hey, what's this? Abby's heart beat fast. Abby's heart beated faster. I have a project I have. Which Stacy wouldn't ask. For school? Stacy asked. Oh no, said Abby. I know. Not waiting to tell what for. Abby scratched her head. I can't say. She pulled her knees up to her chin, thinking about the most creative birthday cake in the world. Come on, Abby. I can keep a secret, Stacy said. I know. Then tell me or I'll have to solve your mystery too. I'll have to solve it I'll call it the mystery of the map book, Stacy said. Abby wasn't worried. Not one bit. Stacy couldn't solve the mystery even if she tried. Chapter 6. It was Wednesday. Abby's bumps were scabby, so she went back to school. At recess, Stacy and Abby met near the swings. I have a plan, Abby said. Stacy looked around to see if anyone was listening. About my adoption, she whispered. Abby nodded. What does your mother get? When does your mother get home? 5:30. That gives us plenty of time. Today I'll solve your mystery. Stacy cheered. All right, meet me at my house after school. When the bell rang after school, both girls raced down Blossom Hill Lane. The wind was blowing hard. Abby dug her hands into her coat pockets. A quarter was in one pocket. 3 gummy bears was in the other. Cul-de-sac seemed quiet as they entered Stacy's house. Sunday funnies, Stacy's cock-poodle barked as they came in the door. He shook his furry white head. The girls headed straight for the master room. Stacy pointed to the filing drawer. My mother keeps her important papers in there, she said. Abby's heart pounded. She felt like a jitterbug inside. This isn't right, Abby thought. We shouldn't be snooping. Then Abby looked at Stacy's face. This was something important. She wanted to help her friend. Abby took a deep breath and pulled the handle. Locked! Where's the key? She said. I don't know, said Stacy. Let's look around. Abby led the way. First to the closet. They looked in a shoebox. They looked in a lamp beside the bed. A pack of gum, some tissues, and the Bible were inside, but no keys. Where could it be? Asked Abby. Think hard. Stacy scratched her head. Where would you hide a key? Good question. Abby dashed off to the kitchen. Now what? Said Stacy. Abby went to the refrigerator. She opened the freezer door. This is the safest place in the house, Abby said. In case of a fire, the freezer is a good place to keep important stuff. She pulled out 3 pizza boxes. Stacy took out a half-gallon of ice cream and bags of strawberries from her grandma's garden. There were frozen vegetables, a pot roast, 2 packets of hot dogs, and the girls stacked them up on the floor. Sunday Funny sniffed the carton of ice cream. Stacy peeked in the freezer. That's it, nothing left. Then she spotted something shiny in the back. It was the key stuck in the side. Look at this, Stacy shouted Abby, grabbing the key. You're amazing, said Stacy as the girls raced back to the bedroom. Abby turned the lock and opened the file drawer. Let's look under B for birth certificate, she said. Stacy found the file folder and pulled it out. Opening the folder, Abby saw only one birth certificate. It was Stacy's mother's. See what I mean? Stacy said. Abby thought for a minute. Maybe Stacy is right. Maybe she is adopted. Detectives don't cry, but Abby felt sure like it was when she saw Stacy's face. Being adopted was a good thing. Why hadn't Stacy's mother told her? Then she remembered the freezer and all the food. Hurry before your mom gets home. The girls raced into the kitchen. Oh no, cried Stacy. I am in trouble now. Sunday Funnies was crouched under the table. He had torn the pot roast open and was half finishing the ice cream. Ice cream was all over his face and paws. Quick, we have to do something fast. Abby took the ice cream carton away from Sunday Funnies. She threw it into the trash, along with some sobbly pot roast. The girls piled the rest of the food back into the freezer. Then Stacy cleaned up the floor. I'll use my allowance to buy another pot roast and some ice cream, Abby said. Then she remembered Sean's birthday surprise. Buying ice cream and pot roast would use up all her savings. Oh, so much for the greatest cake in the world, she thought. Abby hurried home to get her money. A huge lump in her throat. Chapter 7. It was starting to snow. Abby hopped on her bike and headed for the grocery store. Snowflakes tickled her face. She pedaled hard, thinking about the cake that could have been. Now Sean would never get his birthday cake, all because of his silly detective stuff. I should never have sneaked around. At the store, Abby found a roast. It looked like the one Sunday Funnies had torn open. She found the same brand of ice cream, so she paid for it with every cent she had. Pushing sad thoughts away, she headed for Stacy's. At last, she rang the doorbell. Come in, called Stacy. I'm in the bathroom giving my dog a bath. He's a terrible mess. I have another pot roast and some ice cream, Abby said. Your mother will never know. Thanks, yelled Stacy. Sorry about the money. It's all my fault, Abby said. She went into the bathroom. No, it isn't, Stacy said. She rubbed more soap on the puppy's head. We were in it together. I've been thinking, Abby said. It doesn't matter if you're adopted. Look how much your parents love you. I know that, said Stacy. It's not so much about being adopted. If I am, I just wish my parents had told me, Stacy sighed. Your brothers know all about their adoption. Sean and Jimmy were older when it happened, Abby said. She heard the garage door open. Sounds like your mum's home, she said. I better leave. No, wait, said Stacy. I've got an idea. What? Abby pulled a towel off the rack and handed it to Stacy. I'm going to ask my mum some questions. I want you to listen. Stacy drained the dirty bathwater out. Then there were footsteps in the hall. Stacy, I'm home, her mother called. Coming, called Stacy. She lifted Sunday Funnies into the tub. Out of the tub. Abby helped dry him. Follow me, Stacy said. Abby found her friend in the kitchen. Stacey pulled a sheet of paper out of the drawer. She sat down on the table. Abby did too. Stacey took a deep breath. I need to talk to you, Mum. Sure, honey, what's up? Stacey shot a nervous look at Abby. What happened on the day when I was born? What do you mean, dear? Her mother asked. I need to know for my homework, Stacey said. Where were you? Stacey looked at her mother. She set the dishes on the counter. Of course I was. How soon did you see me? Stacey asked. A few hours after you were born? Stacey laughed. A few hours. That's a long time to wait, don't you think? Her mother's opened a drawer and took out a spoon. Why do you ask? Abby looked at Stacey. She held her breath. Stacey stood up. What happened to my birth certificate? I don't know, her mother said, but we need to set the table now. Did you take any pictures of me when I was born? Stacey said. Mrs. Henry pushed her hair back. She sighed. I think your father did. Stacey wrote something on her paper. Does he still have them? It's late now, Stacey. You know how sloppy I am at keeping records sometimes. Can we please talk about this later? Her mum said. Abby stood up. I better go now. See you tomorrow. Stacey scrunched up her face. Okay, Abby. Abby felt funny. Stacey's eye didn't look like everything's okay. They spelled trouble, big trouble. Abby felt like a jitterbug. Something was wrong, crazy wrong. Chapter 8. After supper, Abby checked under the bed. Good, the atlas is still there. Her sketch of South Korea marked the page. She stared at the map. Then she looked at the teddy bear calendar on the wall. Only 10 more days till Sean's birthday. Abby knelt beside her bed and prayed. Please, Lord, help me get some money for my brother's birthday party. The next day, Abby met Stacey in the lunchroom. They sat at the long table next to the wall. Abby leaned against the wall. I have an idea. Stacey, why don't you call your dad? I've been thinking about that, Stacey said. She dipped her spoon into the chocolate pudding. The girls next to them traded sticks of gum. You could ask your dad to send them some of your baby pictures, Abby suggested. Great idea, Stacey said. Maybe he'll know something about your birth certificate, Abby said, smiling. She hoped her idea would work. You're a good friend, Abby Hunter, Stacey said. Abby felt warm inside. I'm going to call a meeting of the Cul-de-sac kids, Stacey said. When? Why? Tomorrow, said Stacey, and don't ask so many questions. She had a sneaky smile. What's up? Abby said. She could see in her friend's face that something was. Wait and see, Stacey said. She went to the dump trash. On Friday, everyone showed up at Duncan's house. His real name was Edward Muffin. He was in 3rd grade, hopscotch on the basketball court. Duncan had the biggest basement in the cul-de-sac. That's where the kids liked to meet in their socks. All sneakers were lined up beside the staircase. Abby sat in the beanbag chair next to the TV. She was the president, but today Stacey was in charge. The kids sat on the floor. Stacey told them what her puppy had done. Abby didn't want me to get in trouble, so she used all of her money to replace the roast and the ice cream. So she needs a loan from us. And from something very important. Carly wiggled her eyes danced. Abby could see she was having a hard time to keep the birthday secret. Duncan stood up. Let's hear it for Abby. I'll loan her $3. Who'll match it? Jason Birchall swayed back and forth. He couldn't ever sit still, even with his medicine. I don't have 3, but I have 250. He asked. We'll take it, said Duncan. He smiled at Dee Dee Winters. What about you? Got any cash loans? Sorry, I'm just going back. It says 250. Sorry, wait. Got any cash loans? Just 50 cents. She pulled out a 2/4. The tooth fairy came last night. She showed the hole where her tooth had been. Carly scooted over beside her. Sean raised his hand. I save up money. I give money to Abby. He stood up and emptied his pockets. Sean handed the money to Duncan. Abby didn't want her brother's money. It was going to be for his cake. That's plenty without Sean's, she added quickly. Eric Hagel whistled. Hey, what about me? I have $1, he said, and Abby doesn't have to pay me back. Thanks, Duncan said, reaching for it. Abby wished that they would stop. God had answered a prayer with more than enough money for Sean's cake. She waved her hands. Yo, kids! The president of the Cul-de-sac kids wants to speak, Stacy announced. The kids got quiet, even Carly and Dee Dee. Thanks for helping me out, Abby said. I'll pay you each back as soon as I can. Now, I want to invite everyone to a birthday party for my brother next Saturday. Come after lunch. Stacy's eyebrows shot up and he grinned. The kids cheered. All right, Sean. Hooray for Abby. The meeting was over. They scrambled for their sneakers. Dee Dee got Carly by mistake. They were red too, but bigger. The kids left. Stacy sat behind Abby. I'm going to call my father tonight, Stacy said. Abby stretched her legs out. That's double good. Stacy smiled. I think it's time to ask him a few questions. The girls got up and found their sneakers. Abby was mismatched. One red, one blue. Be sure to tell me what he says, Abby said. She put the money in her jeans pocket. Thanks for helping. You're a good friend, Stacy Henry. Abby ran all the way home. She had a birthday party plan. Things were definitely terrific. Nothing could go wrong now. Chapter 9. It is Chapter 9. The next morning, Abby dashed over to Stacey's. Did you call your dad? Stacey stood in the doorway. She zipped up her jacket. I chickened out. Oh, said Abby. She wished Stacey wasn't so nervous about it. They rode their bikes to the store. It was time to buy the birthday stuff. Abby couldn't make up her mind. Should she buy blue balloons or red ones? This is my Korean brother's first birthday in the United States, said Abby. Let's get him American colors, Stacy suggested. So Abby bought red, white, and blue balloons. Later, she hid the party stuff under Abby's bed. Then Stacy went home. After lunch, Stacy phoned. Can I come over? She sounded excited. Sure, Abby said, pulling off her sneakers. The doorbell rang. Ding dong. Abby ran to the front of the door in her socks. Stacy flew inside and grabbed Abby's arm. I'm not adopted. How do you know? I called my dad. He has my birth certificate, and he is going to send me a copy. They dashed downstairs to Abby's bedroom. And that's not all, Stacy said. He wants to come and visit me sometime. Abby closed the door. This was super double good. Stacy sat on the rug. So did Abby. This is the best day of my life, Stacy said. She pulled off her sneakers. The mystery of my birth is solved. Abby laughed. And you solved it. She reached under the bed and pulled out a bag of balloons. If you need any help with the party, let me know, Stacy said. I'm not the best detective, but I'm a good fixer-up. Abby ripped up a balloon bag. Can you help me blow up balloons? Sure, said Stacy, and she blew up a blue one. It made her face bright red. Abby clapped her hand for her. I can't wait for the party. Just then Carly came into the room. She had pink bumps on her arms and face, and she was moaning. Look who's got chicken pox, Stacy said. Oh no, Abby gasped. Stay away from Sean. That's right, Stacy snapped. If he gets them, there goes the party. Abby jumped up and led Carly off to her own room. Chapter 10. It was 3 days before Sean's party. Little Jimmy was sick in bed with chicken pox, itchy spots on his nose and his hair, and they were nearly everywhere. Dee Dee Winters had them too, and Jason Burchell missed school. Abby worried, who next? 2 days before the party, Eric and Duncan broke out with chicken pox. After supper, Sean did too. Rats! Abby said to her mother. Now we can't have a party. But you can still bake a cake, her mother said. Sean will like that. The next day, Abby hurried to the kitchen. She got them at the mixing bowls, then the baking powder, sugar, chocolate squares, and canning frosting. She posted the pattern of the Korean South Korea on the refrigerator with a clown magnet. Next, she tiptoed to the boys' room. They were sound asleep. Good. In the kitchen, she followed her mother's recipe. When she measured the cup of flour, some sugar, and the sugar, some of it came onto the floor. When she mixed the batter, it spilled too. What a mess! It was at last she slid the pans into the oven and waited. Abby heard footsteps. She turned around. There was Jimmy making flour footprints on the floor. Snow White was behind her, looking at the sugar spill. Abby stared at her little brother. What are you doing up? Thirsty, Jimmy moaned. Abby poured a glass of water. Here, she said, holding the glass out to him. Now go to bed. Not tired. He scratched the spots. Don't scratch, Abby said. It will make marks. He walked to the refrigerator, tracking flour everywhere, reaching for the map. South Korea. Jimmy fell and slipped. Ouch, she cried. Abby helped him up. Sean was still asleep. Phew, close call. Got to hurry, thought Abby, tiptoeing back to the kitchen. She turned the cake pan first upside down. It was hot. It burned her fingers. The cake came out a crumbly mass on the plate. Oh no! What's wrong? She thought. Then she remembered Stacey, the fixer-upper. Abby called her best friend on the phone. She came over right away. I wanted to look like South Korea, Abby said, pointing at the map in her hands. Sean's birthday is tomorrow. Stacey looked at the drawing. So this is your secret you're keeping away from me. Please help me, Stacey, Abby whispered. I'll never keep secrets from you again. I promise. Stacey smiled. It's a deal. Now, first of all, the pans have to cool before you dump out the cake, she explained. But I think I can fix your mess. Abby watched as Stacey worked bit by bit. She pieced the cake together with canned frosting, but the cake had ugly bumps and ridges in it. It looked more like the Grand Canyon than South Korea. Later, the second cake pan was cooled enough so that Stacey could turn it over, but the cake was stuck. Stacey groaned. Why didn't you butter the pans and the flour before you did the pan? Why didn't you butter the flour and the pan first? I thought I did. Stacey tried one more time to get the cake out of the pan, but it fell into pieces. Abby looked at the cake in horror. Oh no, she cried. Oh, forget it. Just give me a streamer, Stacey said. For what? To hold the cake together, Stacey said. Abby had never heard of such a thing. Did Stacey really know what she was doing? Abby ran to her room to get a red streamer. There was no time to waste. Chapter 11. Abby rushed back to the kitchen with a red streamer and tape. Stacey wrapped the streamer around the piece of cake. She stuck tape on the end of then she stepped back to have a look. Abby didn't know what to think of the repair job. Shouldn't we frost it over? Abby said. When it's cooled some more, Abby slid the cake into the freezer. Then she closed the door. She leaned against it. Remember the pot roast you bought with your own money? Abby felt like a jitterbug. Sure, why? Well, my mother noticed it was a different brand. So I told her what we did. Stacey paused. I told her everything. I'm glad you did, Stacey said. I knew we were wrong. Stacey grinned and washed her hands. She wants you to come for supper tonight. She does? Stacey laughed. We're having your pot roast. Abby's jutters were gone. I'll tell your mother I'm sorry in person, she said. Then she set the timer. In 15 minutes she will check the cake. When Stacy left, Abby sat on the kitchen table. She thought about Sean's chicken pox. She thought about the birthday cake. What an icky mess it was. Even with the red streamer holding it together, the white frosting would never hide the ugly mess. It still looked more like a Grand Canyon than South Korea. Then Abby had an idea. She searched in the pantry and found what she needed: a bag of red crisp cherries. Cherry chips. Abby cake still had a chance. It would be first rate after all. Her cake could have chicken pox. The red cherry chips would hide the lumps and the bumps in the cake. It was perfect. Abby danced a jiggle around the kitchen. The buzzer rang. Abby jiggled to the freezer and took out the cake. Ready. The next day was Sean's birthday. Abby got up early and decorated the kitchen with red, white, and blue balloons. Even though the party was off, she wanted to surprise Sean. After lunch, the doorbell rang. When Abby opened the door, there was the Cul-de-sac kids, chicken pox and all. "Surprise!" they shouted. "Surprise on you, Abby Hunter." Letting her friends inside, Abby giggled. It was definitely a good surprise. The children cheered when they saw the kitchen. Abby gave everyone a red marker. "Let's put spots everywhere. We'll give everything chicken pox," she said. And that's what they did. The balloons and napkins were spotted. Even the streamers had polka dots. Abby put red stickers on the dog. Now Snow White had chicken pox. She barked and ran around in circles. Abby's mother invited everyone to sit down at the table. Then Sean peeked around the corner in his pajamas. He grinned at his spotty friends. "Surprise!" they shouted. "Happy birthday!" Abby pulled at the chair for her brother. It was at the head of the table. Then she carried in the lumpy, bumpy cake with white frosting and red cherry chips, chicken pox spots. Mother lit the birthday candles. They were white with red polka dots. "Happy birthday, my son," she said. "Make a wish," Abby said. Sean closed his eyes. There were spots on his eyelids. Then Sean blew out the 9 candles on the first try. Everyone cheered. Abby wanted to dance. It was a super itchy, glitchy Saturday, so the party was short, but it didn't matter. The Cul-de-sac kids said it was the best party ever.
If you'd like to know how to find all of our stories, type Living Books for World Changes into the YouTube search bar, press go, select Living Books for World Changes videos, and you can find all our stories there. We upload new stories every Thursday. We love sharing stories with you. Come back and don't forget to like and subscribe.